You've dubbed it yourself, Tamil portions? Your Tamil
No,
portions?
I haven't dubbed it myself, but we've dubbed this film in Tamil, and we want the audience out there to actually see and understand our point of view on the film. Very clear that we've not taken any sides. Absolutely, we've
Trying to keep it as objective as possible.
as objective as possible, and being a conscientious citizen of India, you really don't want to hurt anyone's sentiments, because at the end of the day, we're Indian first. We believe we've been straight, we've been honest, we've been unbiased, and we've told the story the way we wanted to without compromising. We've not tried to make anyone happy. On the contrary, we're making a lot of people unhappy. But we've told our story.
How have you just balanced the entire tightrope walk of making it into a commercially viable, at least somewhat viable project?
A very good question. Well, I haven't seen Agent Vinod or D-Day, but I've seen Ek Tha Tiger, and it's made by one of my most favorite directors and a close friend, Kabir Khan. I thoroughly enjoyed the film. But our film is very different. I don't want the six-pack, I don't want this massive body, because I don't want John Abraham getting out of a local train in Jaffna and standing out. John Abraham should look like a common man getting out of the train. जो हम देखते हैं, जो हम सुनते हैं, सच सिर्फ उतना नहीं होता.
क्या बात है?
जो हम देखते हैं, सुनते हैं, सच सिर्फ उतना नहीं होता.
And now, when you're talking about Prabhakaran, for that matter, Tamil groups are they're having certain reservations, and I believe they want to see the film. And you're having a simultaneous Tamil release of the movie as well.
Yes.
On August 23rd. Now, the question is, many a times we don't realize that we understand that we are bound by boundaries and all that stuff. But what happens is that there are sympathizers on every side. Like say in Tamil Nadu, for example, we have many sympathizers as to whatever happened in Sri Lanka, especially with Prabhakaran. Somewhere do you feel it's a very, very complex situation, and it's very difficult to decipher?
It's a very complex situation. Before we got into it, Faridoon, Shoojit and I sat and discussed it for days and months. But we decided to go ahead and do it, and we knew the repercussions. But like I said, the fact that I've dubbed the film in Tamil is reason enough for the Tamilians not to worry, the sympathizers not to worry, because like I said, all speculation is, all objection is based on speculation. I'm sure once they see it, they'll be more than happy, because we've dubbed the film in Tamil, and we've done it with the intention of people in Tamil Nadu watching this film.
You've dubbed it yourself, Tamil portions? Your Tamil
no,
portions?
I haven't dubbed it myself, but we've dubbed this film in Tamil, and we want the audience out there to actually see and understand our point of view on the film, and it's a very honest point of view. And let me give an example. For example, we've addressed the fact that the rebel group leader is someone asks me, is the rebel group leader a terrorist? And I say, for one man revolutionary, for another man terrorist. So we're very clear that we've not taken any sides, absolutely. We're
trying to keep it as objective as possible.
As objective as possible, and being a conscientious citizen of India, you really don't want to hurt anyone's sentiments, because at the end of the day, we're Indian first. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, we must speak the truth the way it is. Because जो हम देखते हैं, जो हम सुनते हैं, सच सिर्फ उतना नहीं होता.
क्या बात है?
जो हम देखते हैं, सुनते हैं, सच सिर्फ उतना नहीं होता.
But once again, I'll come to it when you're saying that you're not trying to hurt anyone. But the thing is, the fact is, when you really do take a stand somewhere, you have to be like really, really clear about it. And sometimes it may hurt people as such, because
it could possibly, but you know, it'll hurt people if they start interpreting the film in the way they want to after watching the film. It's easy to interpret the film the way you want to interpret it. So we believe we've been straight, we've been honest, we've been unbiased, and we've told the story the way we wanted to without compromising. We've not tried to make anyone happy. On the contrary, we're making a lot of people unhappy. But we've told our story. If people want to speculate, debate, argue, we're up for discussion after the release of the film.
Now, when it comes to something of this sort, which is loosely based on real life events as such, many a time it is said that it has a maybe, you know, there's a very thin line of just going into the documentary zone, and you are at the end of the day, it's like a commercial venture for you. Even though I believe you've kept the entire budget under a tight leash, but still, how have you just balanced the entire tightrope walk of making it into a commercially viable, at least somewhat viable project?
A very good question. I think for one, like you answered the question in your question, we've kept the budget so low that we know that one aspect of finance is not the issue. B, Shoojit Sircar as a director has made this a proper commercial venture. We've used the backdrop of the Tamil conflict, but the film's a political spy thriller. So anybody who doesn't know about what happened in the 80s and 90s can enjoy this film as a political spy thriller. And C, for me, entertainment doesn't necessarily mean comedy, singing or dancing. You know, it could also mean if a film's engaging and informative. So we made sure we've got our information out, but we made sure we've got it out on a commercial format.
Something about maybe the technical aspects of the movie. From the promo so far, I think it's looking very, very interesting. The camera work and the entire. I think the way it's just progressing. Best part is I think you're not having the entire jingoistic element the way we've seen it in recent times in D-Day. Even that had a bit of raw element to it and even somewhat realistic tone. But somewhere the jingoistic element it came out at the end of it. Somewhere this seems to be far more. You know, it doesn't go beyond in terms of becoming too loud somewhere.
It seems subtle. It's a very realistic film. It's a very gritty film. It's not even John Abraham or Force or Shootout at Wadala.
Right.
I'll give you an example. It's in the real space, but at the same time, it's an engaging film. It's entertaining.
Right. You've also said at a event for this movie that raw agents they don't jump around like Spider-Man and they don't have six-pack abs primarily.
Yeah.
And they're as regular people as anyone else, and maybe they have eyes which are like just all the time moving, maybe in 180 degree or 360 degree.
Absolutely.
Something more about your perception of raw agents, because we've seen in Ek Tha Tiger or maybe D-Day the way raw agents have been portrayed in the recent times. Agent Vinod for that matter.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen Agent Vinod or D-Day, but I've seen Ek Tha Tiger, and it's made by one of my most favorite directors and a close friend, Kabir Khan. I thoroughly enjoyed the film, but our film is very different. It's Shoojit has actually researched for 7 years before actually getting down to portraying a raw agent, and the first thing he told me is, John. And I was referring to myself. He said that I don't want the six-pack, I don't want this massive body, because I don't want John Abraham getting out of a local train in Jaffna and standing out. John Abraham should look like a common man getting out of the train. So deconstruct yourself, lose all this weight. And the other thing he told me was often overacting is considered as good acting in our industry, which has been happening for 10 years. While I laid low and I performed subtly, which was considered, underperformances, Shoojit thankfully was completely in sync with my performances. So he said, John, stick to the way you've been performing, because this is what we believe is good acting. Don't deviate from this. So I said, okay. So, and the third thing he said is that the physicality of a raw agent is not something where he's wearing tight t-shirts and showing his biceps and looking around like this. He is loose and his eyes are moving around and he knows what's happening, like you said, in a 180 degree or even a 360 degree around him. And that's exactly what we've shown.